I have learned to not be offended when people put their defenses up when I even mention the word nutrition. And I get it. Our food is one of the most personal parts of the human experience. It's woven into our childhood, our culture, our comfort, our stress, our habits, our emotions, everything. But we cannot deny it still affects our performance, it affects our happiness, our relationships, ultimately, our entire state of being. And yet, for something so integral to our perception of reality, we rarely stop to ask, how does this food actually make me feel? Most of us don't listen to what our body is actually saying, not because we don't care, but because life is loud and our bodies speak very softly. So let's be brave. Let's open Pandora's box just for a moment, just for the length of this podcast. Let's open up our mind to the dietary change in the name of total life improvement. Today's episode isn't about dieting. It isn't about rules or restriction. It's about clarity. It's about learning the language our body has been whispering to you for years, your entire life. And look, in transparency for me, that whisper has never been so quiet. Because of my nervous system condition, Charcot Marie Tooth disease, what I eat affects me immediately and in often cases intensely. If I eat highly processed foods, my symptoms, they flare. My pain increases, my balance, it gets worse, my anxiety spikes, my body becomes a tougher place to live in. Sounds bad, but here is the silver lining. When I nourish myself with intention, with protein, with fiber, with nutrients, both macro and micro, my entire system calms. My pain, it softens. My clarity, it returns. I feel stable, I feel grounded, and I feel capable. My body shouts at me every moment of every day. Yours, it whispers, but they are saying the same thing. So today, I want to help you hear those whispers clearly and kindly, and show you how to eat in a way that your body will actually thank you for. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part 2 of the Beginner Health series, Nutrition. Let's dive in, shall we? Hey team, it is Bart Walsh here. I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a fitness expert, and welcome back to the Built Resilient podcast, a show for people wanting more out of life, more happiness, more purpose, more resilience. And I feel very grateful that you have found us. Thank you for listening today. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcast, do me a big favor. Make this keynote speaker very, very grateful. And leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps us boost up the algorithm. And hey, it makes this relationship, you and me, official. And if it does happen to be your first time here, where have you been? No, seriously, thank you for being here. I do really appreciate it. Welcome to a happier and more purpose-driven life. We hope you enjoyed the plethora of content that is coming your way. Now, last week we rebuilt the foundations of training. Perhaps we opened up your eyes to the power of strength. And today we are going to do the same with nutrition. And if you've ever felt confused or overwhelmed by eating well, there is a reason, and it has nothing to do with willpower. Nutrition isn't complicated. The world has made it complicated. What your body needs is simple, it's timeless, it's biologically familiar. So in the name of transparency, I want to say something frank, but very true. You are not failing at nutrition. You're navigating an environment designed to make you fail. Humans have evolved eating whole foods, plants, proteins, fibers, roots, seeds, grains, you name it. Whatever the land could provide us. Now we are surrounded by hyper-palatable foods, engineered snacks, sugar in everything, dopamine-driven eating, foods designed for cravings and not for nourishment. This isn't a lack of discipline. It's a biology clashing with our modern day life. Your body hasn't evolved as quickly as your environment has changed. We're living in what researchers call a mismatch theory, a world where everything is easy to eat but hard to process, a world where everything is easy to access but hard to regulate, and a world that creates a modern comfort crisis. A life where food is abundant, it's engineered, available, and addictive, but our ancient biology still expects simplicity. So today, team, let's remove the shame, let's remove the guilt, let's remove the idea that you are bad at eating. Now, with that out of the way, we can talk science with context and not judgment. I live with a condition called Charcot Marie Tooth disease. It is a condition that affects my peripheral nervous system. And for me, that means balance challenges, it means nerve pain, fatigue, and constant frustrating instability, both mental and physical. It also means this: what I eat has a direct, immediate impact on how I function. If I eat processed inflammatory foods, I feel it. I feel it fast. My legs get shaky. My coordination, it drops. My pain, it increases. My anxiety rises like a wave that does not belong to me. But when I nourish myself, team, when I nourish myself with whole foods, protein, nutrients, hydration, it's like my body sighs in relief. My symptoms, they soften. My balance, it steadies. My pain, it calms down. And it makes me feel like me again. And it took me years to realize this wasn't just a Bart thing. This wasn't just about me. This wasn't just my condition. This is how the human body works. Mine just happens to scream at me because of my condition. Yours, it speaks a bit more quietly, it whispers. But the signals it is sending us are the same. Brain fog, energy crashes, anxiety, fatigue, poor sleep, digestive issues, irritability, unexplained mood dips. I'm sure a few of these are relative to you. We just live in a world where it's easier to numb these signals and just not listen to them. It's easier to push through, it's easier to blame others for how we feel. But team, at the end of the day, remember, it's no one else's responsibility to change this. This is your body talking to you. And it wants to feel good. So let's start listening. I'm about to run you through five things why this nutrition thing actually matters. The thing is, most nutrition advice focuses on details that don't create real change. It focuses on calories, carbs, strict planned magic food. But the human body is far simpler than the diet industry makes it out to be. It is governed by a few key mechanisms that determine your hunger, your fullness, your cravings, your energy, your mood, your inflammation, your resilience. And if you understand these five things, you understand how food affects your entire life. These are the levers you can actually pull, the ones that will make nutrition workable and not overwhelming. So let's break them down. The first mechanism is blood sugar. I'm sure you've heard of this before. This is the engine for your energy. Blood sugar is measured by the amount of glucose energy in your bloodstream. When you eat ultra-processed food, your blood sugar spikes pretty bloody quickly. Your body floods with insulin to then bring that blood sugar down. And it often crashes far too low than we want it to be. And the crash becomes irritability, afternoon slumps, sugar cravings, brain fog, anxiety spikes. You know the feeling. Stable blood sugar, on the other hand, is stable mood, stable energy, and a stable life. Control your blood sugar, and it just makes life so much easier. The second mechanism is satiety, and this is why protein and fiber are non-negotiables, in my opinion, for this comfort crisis. Satiety means I feel satisfied, not stuffed, just grounded, just here. Protein and fiber are the keys to this satiety feeling because they digest slowly. They stabilize hunger hormones. They keep your blood sugar stable. They keep you full for hours. And protein, it repairs, it strengthens, and it stabilizes. Fiber, it feeds those beautiful little gut bacteria that sit in your intestine, reduces inflammation as a result, and manages digestion. If you want fewer cravings, if you want steadier energy, if you want predictable hunger, then protein and fiber are your foundation. Third thing I want you to wrap your head around is ultra-processed foods. They are ubiquitous, they are everywhere in the modern day world. They're engineered to make you overeat. These foods are designed to hit that bliss point in your taste buds that makes you want more, the perfect combination of sugar, salt, and fat that lights up your brain's reward mechanisms. It isn't a lack of discipline, it's chemistry. Partially why the reason kicking this stuff is so hard. Your biology isn't built for the modern food engineering, it's not built for these types of foods. But awareness can remove that shame. And then this gives you power to choose, power to shift. Fourth mechanism is your gut health, a bit of a buzz term in the last few years, but something that I think is another foundation of our entire health world. Your gut is your second brain. Your gut influences everything. It influences your mood, your inflammation, your sleep, your energy, your cravings, your hormones, your resilience. A well-fed gut makes you happier, calmer, and more energized. A poorly fed gut, on the other hand, makes everything harder. And fiber is your gut's favorite food. A diverse array of fiber, and of course, enough of it. And the fifth mechanism I want you to understand is inflammation. You've probably heard of this before. Inflammation is an immune response. It is the driver behind most of the bad symptoms we get. Inflammation affects your nerves, it affects your joints, it affects your brain health, your mood, your pain, your recovery. And for me, inflammation is immediate and intense, but for others, it shows up a bit more quietly, insidiously, like fatigue. It shows up like irritability, like poor sleep, bloating, and low resilience. Food can calm inflammation. It can either be pro-inflammation or anti-inflammation. And once you know that food becomes a tool, all of a sudden this inflammation thing is not a battle anymore. You have the answer. Now let's talk a bit about a solution here, a simple solution. Here's why this matters. Look, I've coached so many people for decades, hundreds of thousands of people by proxy through Jets. I've coached beginners, athletes, older adults, busy parents, myself included, stressed out professionals, and no matter who I work with, this framework is the one that sticks. It's simple, it's unsexy, but that's why it works. This is the one that builds long-term habits, the one that meets you where you are at and grows with you. So, let's build the foundation. Principle number one for most of us, there's always exceptions to the rule, but principle number one is to prioritize protein. And I'm not saying that just because I've got big arms. Protein stabilizes hunger, it supports muscle, it balances your hormones, and keeps your energy predictable. A lack of protein is one of the main reasons why people feel so out of control with their food. Add protein to most of your meals, in fact, all of your meals, and it will change everything. And for those who might be a little bit confused about which foods contain protein, there is a plethora of information out there, but these are foods like your meats. They can be fatty, they can be lean. We're talking fish, we're talking eggs. For our vegans and vegetarians out there, we're looking for combinations of brown rice, of beans, of lentils, of tofu, of tempeh. Foods that have a higher amount of protein, slide them into your meals, and you'll start to see a difference in no time. Principle number two is to fill up on fiber. Fiber supports our gut health, it supports our bugs in our tummy, we know this now. It reduces our inflammation, helps with our blood sugar. Most people are dramatically under-eating it if you're living in the typical modern Western world. We're talking plants of color, we're talking whole foods, we're talking fruits. Your gut will reward you for it if you get a wide variety of different types of fiber. Remember, different bugs in your guts eat different fibers. That's why we need a variety. And we need to make sure we're getting enough. There's a lot of conjecture about how much fiber we need during our day. I'll always try and aim for 30 grams in a day somehow. I don't really track it. I just make sure I'm eating a lot of roughage, a lot of fruits, and a lot of vegetables to feed all those beautiful bugs in my tummy. So we've gone through protein, we've gone through fiber. These are the two things I like to add into someone's diet. Principle number three is all about balance. Before anything else, before worrying about macros or advanced nutrition or cutting out entire food groups, I want you to aim for a plate that has protein, fiber, color, carbohydrates you enjoy, and healthy fats. This is a balanced plate. Balanced plates create stability. Stability creates consistency, and consistency creates results. The reason for balance is that I don't want you to cut carbs, or I don't want you to do carb backloading or manipulate your your diet until you've found a foundation, until you've found this balance, because you can always come back to this default setting. If we don't just get the fundamentals right, we don't have a good place to come back to. So if we do fall off the wagon, if we are trying keto, we can come back to a balanced plate, balanced habits that will still keep us progressing forwards. And principle number 4 is all about adding things to your diet before you take things away. This is a personal training trick that I learned many years ago that has a great psychological benefit over time. Restriction is the fastest route to binging and burnout. I've seen it time and time again. Adding supportive food, however, your proteins and your fibers, is far more sustainable. So add your protein, add your vegetables, add your fiber, add your color. And when you add nourishment, cravings, they naturally calm. And once you've added these good things to your diet, you all of a sudden see those bad things slowly start to fade away. And principle number 5 is to listen to the signals your body is sending you. Your body speaks through energy, it speaks through mood, through sleep, cravings, digestion, inflammation. And these aren't just random things, they're messages, they're happening for a reason. Nutrition becomes so much easier when you learn to interpret them. And look, this once again isn't an overnight fix. You have to learn how your body feels after you eat certain foods. You have to learn those signals so you can then respond to them. So team, let's summarize here. I want you to add protein. I want you to add fiber. I want you to start with a balanced plate. Don't do any of those sexy trending diets. I then want you to make sure you're adding these things before you take them away. And finally, I want you to make sure you're learning to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. There's a reason why you're tired. There's a reason why you have an upset tummy after certain foods. Start listening and start changing your life. And team, I'm very aware that this might sound a little bit litigious. I think that's the right word. Or it might sound a little bit belittling from a guy that's got this stuff figured out, mainly, I should say. But I understand the plight. Life is busy, you're human, you're not cooking elaborate 4-course meals every single day. So here are the real tools. Here are the fundamentals. I just want you to reduce friction. I want you to make whole food options, foods with one ingredient, easier to access than the processed ones. So I want you to create default meals. If they're on repetition, that's okay. I want you to create 3 to 5 simple meals that you can rely on. So this way you can design your environment and you can remove temptations that wear down your willpower. I want you to aim, this sounds bad, for good enough. Don't aim for perfection. Consistency will always win. And I want you to use convenience wisely. I want you to really rely on the microwave if you need to. Put your rice in there, put your frozen veg, even cook your chicken in there. I've done that a couple of times. If it means you're still going to eat whole foods and avoid the bad stuff, then that's a big tick in my box. So team, if you've made it this far into the episode, well done. If I haven't inspired you to make a little bit of a change, here is your direct challenge. This week, I want you to make one dietary change. Remember, if you want something better in this life, nothing changes if nothing changes. I want you to add protein to one meal, maybe breakfast. I want you to add some vegetables to your dinner, perhaps every single day of the week, or even one day a week. That's progress. Or it might just be having an extra glass of water. Whatever it is, I want you to perform it with a relentless consistency. Because team, your body will notice it. It notices things more than you could ever perceive. Your mind, it will notice it too. And your resilience will notice as well. Make the change and start seeing the difference. Team, I am Bart Walsh. This is the Built Resilient podcast. We are here to level up your physical, mental, and emotional resilience. And team, you deserve to feel supported in the body that you live in. You deserve to feel the energy. You deserve to feel the recovery, the good sleep. And take it from a guy that is always trying to adjust things. You can achieve that through what you put in your mouth. So make the change, even if it's small. Hey, if you want to support what we're doing here, make sure you subscribe to the show. Hey, if you've got someone who needs a bit of love in their life from the nutrition side of things, share this show with them. We're making some small ripples into this world. I'm hoping they're going to turn into tidal waves in the next years to come, and I need your help to do it. So spread the word, keep supporting the show, and remember to choose resilience.